Good evening. Welcome to iVision TV. I'm Kamala and you're watching Zip Talk. Last Sunday on May 1st, 2011, right after the premiere of the Zip Talk show, the airwaves was soon hit with the message to come from President Obama at 10:30 p.m. Quickly, rumors started to hit the networks with the speculating announcement of the death of Osama bin Laden. From the White House just after 11:30 p.m., President Obama announced that the most anticipated news that shook the world nearly a decade ago on September 11, 2001, claiming over 3,000 lives, the death of Osama bin Laden, was confirmed. Soon after the announcement, the streets of New York and Washington, D.C. were filled with people celebrating the death of the world's most wanted terrorist. Zip Talk took to the streets of Tampa, Florida to get people's reactions to the announcement. Before we get to the people's reactions, first, a story about a man who was fighting alongside Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. Khalid al-Jahani was at one time a bomb maker for Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. After 9/11, he was captured and held in an American detention facility in Guantanamo Bay for over 4 years before returning to his home country of Saudi Arabia, where he passed through a rehabilitation program for men involved with terror groups. Today, he has a job. He owns a house and he is married. The program is being watched by other countries as potentially a successful model for reintegrating a former terrorist back into society. While being monitored by the Saudi government, al-Jahani says he was not impressed by bin Laden. He hid with bin Laden in Tora Bora after 9/11. When American forces began bombing the region, he says that bin Laden was cowardly to flee to Tora Bora a day ahead of everyone else. After leaving Tora Bora, al-Jahani was quickly captured by the Pakistani military and then handed over to the American military. He was then flown to the detention facility in Guantanamo Bay. He says that he finally changed his views after seeing a film of 9/11 while he was held there.
In 1997, he was known for us as a fighter or as a leader of fighters. But in 2001, he became as president or as something like a leader of the world or something like that. This is not right. This is not the war. We fight as a fighter, soldier, or we don't accept that our civilian being killed by American or by anyone. So why we accept that for their civilian?
Professor Hamid El-Said is a consultant to the United Nations Terrorism Monitoring Group, which is promoting a global de-radicalization effort. He says that Islam has a strong tradition of forgiveness.
These individuals are looked at as our sons. That's what the Saudis tell you. Despite
more than 90% of the 400 men who have passed through this program so far have not returned to violence. Where were you during 9/11 about 10 years ago?
I was within sight of the second tower being hit. And that was probably about 5 miles from downtown.
9 years ago, 10 years ago actually now, I was actually still in high school. And I remember clearly to this day, we were just, I was in class in the middle of class and it was announced that it happened and they showed it on the TVs and it was just so amazing. It seemed fake, it didn't even seem real.
I was in school at Virginia Tech and I was sitting in class when my professor turned and looked at his pager, which was even unusual at that time, and he said something about, 2 planes hitting, one hit the World Trade Center and one hit the Pentagon, and I just thought it was a coincidence. And I remember as the class went on, everybody kind of got more and more worried, and afterwards he let class out early, and we went immediately to go check to see what was going on. I spent a lot of time watching the TV at first. It's crazy how you remember everything you do that morning, and then I met my friend in the student center and watched unbelievably as the towers crashed. That was just crazy to think of. Not only that they would be hit, but then they would actually fall. And then got together with some other friends, and we got together as a group in the middle of campus and prayed together and that sort of thing.
I was actually in 8th grade at the time. I remember we were doing some kind of homeroom activity early in the morning when the news happened and all the TVs came on, teachers stopped class, and very somber moment, just earth-shattering at the time. So,
I was in high school. I remember it vividly because by the time I got home, my dad was in the military and everything was locked down. My mom worked at Cape Canaveral. That was all shut down. It was pretty scary. I thought it was a movie.
I was at my parents' house in Brandon. I was very shocked by it, and I think we were all very worried about the future of the country.
What is your reaction to President Obama's announcement yesterday to the whole world that Osama bin Laden has been killed?
Very excited, but at the same time, I hope for our country that there's no retaliation, and kind of makes me a little nervous at the same time with him having so many followers. But it is good news, and at the same time, I'm nervous for us.
Well, I think it's a very good thing that such an evil sort of leader is gone. He was against everything that this country has fought to earn over the years. In other words, a cultural diversity, peace, and cooperation. He was against that. He had his vision of his way and nothing else. Not good in this world.
I think it should have been done a long time ago. Bottom line, I think it should have been done. I think it dragged on too long, but it's a good thing.
lots of mixed emotions, obviously. There was part of me that was thankful that it was finally over and peace and justice was brought to thousands of people all throughout, millions of people all throughout the country. Just happy to finally have this over and done with, and hopefully move on to a new, peaceful time where activities of this will not happen in the future.
I guess excited and surprised. It's pretty surprising too. I guess it's kind of one of those things that you don't think about anymore. It's been almost 10 years, and I haven't thought about it in a while, and then all of a sudden out of the blue for that to happen, it's just kind of caught me off guard. It's just I guess it was one of those things kind of didn't think might ever happen. So.
I want to take a moment to say that I am sorry. Those who have lost so much. If you can hear me out there, we need a moment of silence. Together, let's pray. Amen. I wake up this morning. I don't wanna cry no more for the thing that I'm seeing. My people is dying. Who's gonna help them out? Who's gonna give them what they need to survive? To survive.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Zip Talk Sundays at 8 p.m. Verizon Channel 30, Bright House Channel 950, Comcast Channel 20, and streaming live on ivisiontv.net.
What you just watched was just a small recap of people's reactions in Tampa after getting news of Osama bin Laden's death. We are asking you all to be vigilant and take precaution while traveling abroad and be safe. We'll go to Suja now in Studio A with Technology and Culture. Take it away, Suja.
Thank you, Kamala, for that report.
For now, for news and technology, over the past week, U.S. consumers have been talking about their smartphones, keeping tabs on their locations. In the Netherlands, another kind of GPS scandal is brewing. Data collected from TomTom's navigation device is being used to install speed cameras in places where drivers are most likely to speed. TomTom CEO Harold put out a statement on YouTube.
So we're asking our customers permission to collect data about their actual usage of our devices, and that is important information because it gives us an insight in travel times, and travel times are important to improve the quality of our products. We make traffic information, we improve the route guidance based on that information, and we help in general our customers to navigate around traffic jams if there is a way to do that. That's all very valuable. We also use that information and make it available to governments and local authorities for them to get a better understanding of the usage of the road network to identify black spots, congestion. It gives them better insight where to build new roads. They use it also to improve safety. And all that is, I don't think, an issue with our customers. But we learned today also that the police in the Netherlands are using that information to identify road stretches where people in general and on average are driving too fast, and they use that also to put up speed cameras and speed traps, and we don't like that because our customers don't like it, and we will prevent that type of usage of our data in the future. What I would like to stress, however, is that at no point the individual privacy of our customers has been compromised. Everything we do is based on an anonymous basis. We ourselves cannot link that back to an individual device, we cannot link that back to a customer, nor can the police. But what we don't want is that we have unpleasant surprises for our customers who are helping us to create that information and make them think, well, is my privacy compromised or not? So that is something we've learned today. We will fix that in the future, and we will make sure that this type of information is no longer used for this particular application.
The good news is, for €50 a year, TomTom will tell the users locations of speed cameras. Traffic jam in space? Endeavour attempted its first launch on April 29th. This was called off due to a technical malfunction with one of the shuttle's power systems. With the recent delays in the launch, NASA officials had to coordinate around the big events on the ground and in space. With the launch of an unmanned rocket and the undocking of a Russian spacecraft from the International Space Station and preparations for NASA's next and final space shuttle mission. The earliest opportunity to launch Endeavour is on May 10th at 11:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Sony is offering their online gamers an extra 30 days of fun for free. That's right. PlayStation customers around the world will get 30 days of free service, including downloads. It's Sony's way of saying sorry for its 25 million users whose accounts were hacked last week. Sounds like a sweet deal? I'd check my accounts first. Call it Couture. Starting in 2013, people of New York will be getting a new ride, thanks to Nissan, who won the 10-year contract to provide the next generation of New York's famous yellow taxi. But not just any taxi, a taxi cab that isn't off the rack, but rather custom tailored to create the best fit for drivers, owners, and passengers, according to the Taxi and Limousine Commissioner of New York. So what better way to heighten the experience in New York? Well, the vehicle will feature an overhead window to offer views of the city's skyscrapers. They will have charging stations for your mobile phones and satellite navigation. The design will be based on the Nissan NV200 minivan model. Before we take a break, let's Skype to New York with Patricia to find out what's going on in her zip code. And when we come back, we'll do culture and society. So stay tuned, and after the break, whatever you do, do not touch that dial.
Erica with Zip Talk. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm actually in New York City. My zip code is 11225. So I am in the People's Republic of Brooklyn. So anyway, I have so much to talk about. After all, we're in New York City. Hi. There's so many things to talk about. But as you know, a lot of New Yorkers and people around the world may be celebrating this. I don't want to say anything anymore. You all know about it. They may be also celebrating this. Well, I don't know about you, but I've had enough of this. So I think I'll start claiming myself the Duchess of Brooklyn. Ha! Why not? Anyway, ooh, this is a tough one that a lot of people are in pain for. Look at this. This is actually not in New York, but we do share the pain. So think about it, you guys. Check these people out. Whew, I'm losing my breath here. But anyway, have you heard of Lady Gaga? Of course you probably have. Maybe she's touring somewhere in your city, but she'll be in New York City. So if you're coming up, be there. I might go see her, but I'm not sure. I don't think I'm into the whole Monsters Ball or anything like that. So look for me around the world. I will be visiting. Everywhere I go, I'm going to Skype Zip Talk so I can tell you all about where I'm visiting and what I'm doing. By the way, next week I might be in San Diego. So it's another zip code. Why not zip talking all about it? So cheers for now.
Hello, I'm Robin Baldwin and I'm reporting with Zip Talk live from beautiful Pasco County, watching the sunset behind me. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about homelessness and education. So those of us living in Central Florida, Tampa Bay, Orlando area, we've probably seen a spike of homeless people, especially in the streets. I hear there's a lot of conversation going on about it. It's in the news. But one of the questions I had is what's going on with homeless children that are in our schools? It's something that we don't necessarily think about because we don't see them as visible as their parents probably. So then recently there was a news story about a woman who was actually going to be arrested because she falsified information so that her homeless child could attend a good public school. And they were actually threatening to arrest her.
My son loves that school. He loves his teachers. He has, he loves the environment over there.
But her son is no longer attending Brookside Elementary School in Norwalk. Instead, he's at a school in Bridgeport while his mother faces larceny charges. Police say Tanya McDowell, who is homeless, stole more than $15,000 worth of education by sending her son to the Norwalk school while she was temporarily staying in Bridgeport.
And he's curious. He's very furious in regards to it because he thinks that I stole Brookside away from him, like I took it away from him.
There was no process put in place when her son was removed. It was a phone call, a message left on the answer machine, basically saying, don't bring your kids to school, your child to school anymore. He's being removed.
Darnell Crossland was appointed as McDowell's attorney by the NAACP. He stood next to her in court while the judge entered a not guilty plea on her behalf.
Sure that there will be other motions as well.
The NAACP is just one group backing McDowell. Another by her side outside of court was the Connecticut Parents Union that says McDowell shouldn't be penalized for wanting her son to get a quality education. In fact, the union says children of homeless parents are entitled to that education under the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act.
So please don't criminalize us, don't arrest us, work with us, we'll work with you. We want to protect our children and we want to ensure that educators and administrators are protecting our children too.
And it made me think, what's really going on in Florida when it comes to homelessness and specifically in Pasco and Hillsborough County areas? So I looked it up, and in Florida, the estimated daily homeless population for 2010 is 57,751 people. And that only counts people living on the street or staying in emergency shelters. So what does that mean as far as our schools go? And how are our schools accommodating these students? Well, what I found was that there is a federal McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act that states that children and youth who lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence are considered homeless. And these homeless students under this program are insured equal access to the same free, appropriate, and public education, including preschool education, just as much as any other student. So it's interesting to see that there's a lot more information about it, but our homeless children, there are qualifications for them. There are specific guidelines for making sure that they're treated equally, and it puts this video of this mother's response about her arrest into perspective.
Every child is curious. George, look what I found. Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning. Create a curious reader. This is super bedtime reading. Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
Fire took place 3 years ago. There was a lightning strike. The winds picked up and the fire just took off. You're in shock. You don't know what you're feeling. You have nothing anymore. I lost my home and 40 years worth of art. I never thought that I would need help from the Red Cross. They gave me emotional support to get up in the morning. I'll never forget what the Red Cross did for me.
Zip Talk Sundays at 8 p.m. Verizon Channel 30, Bright House Channel 950, Comcast Channel 20, and streaming live on ivisiontv.net.
Students at Alice Steele Middle School in Washington, D.C. were doing more than just moving their bodies last week. The kids were part of a nationwide flash workout. Similar to Flash Mob, the students danced to Beyonce's song and video, Move Your Body, all at the same time in efforts to support Michelle Obama's anti-obesity campaign. The kids were excited to learn new moves like the Cat Daddy, the Shuffle, and the Dougie. Park fit for a Tony Award nomination? It is if you're the show's creator. Trey Parker and Matt Stone landed 14 Tony nominations in the U.S. for their Broadway musical, The Book of Mormon. The show is about two young Mormon missionaries sent off to spread the word in Africa. The show is up for Original Score, Best Musical, and Lead Actor in a Musical.
I'm sure the Mormons will embrace this absolutely 100%. They're going to give us things. They're going to send us letters of love. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
And this concludes our show, Zip Talk. Thank you for watching iVisionTV.net. I'm your host, Kamala. And I'm Suja. And remember, if you would like to share stories or be a correspondent for Zip Talk, please feel free to email us. You can find our information on our website at iVisionTV.net. And thank you again for watching.